Hello fellow crafters, this is Julia from JustOneMoreCard.com, and today we're going to create this really cute birthday card with distress markers. I'm going to be using two stamp sets. The first one is the Late But With Love by Gerda Steiner Designs. It's the very first clear stamp set, and I'm going to use the cupcake and the candle. And the second stamp set is the Unforgettable by W+9, and I think a lot of you know this set. I'm starting out by using archival black ink to stamp out my images. This ink is good for watercolors. It doesn't bleed when you use water with it. So that's why I'm using this ink. And I'm pressing down not too hard, but more than usual because this is watercolor cardstock and it has a textured surface. Now I also need a mask for the face of the elephant, or better for his trunk. So I'm stamping this on the sticky side of a Post-it, fuzzy cut it, and now he has half an orange face. Why not? And I'm stamping my candle. And in retrospect, I realized I should have changed the mask and cut away the part of his trunk that curls so it would look better. But oh well, next time I'll do it. Now for the coloring, I'm using distress markers and I'm going directly with the color to the paper because where I put it down, it will be the most intense. And the good thing is, once the color has dried or once the paper has dried, you can go in and add layers. So on all the elements, except maybe for the candle, I'll be adding multiple layers of color. So I'm starting out with a light color and then I'm going in with a darker color. Except for the icing on the cake, there I'll be using cracked pistachio, and I don't have the pen for that yet. So I'm just pressing some of the color onto an acrylic block and picking it up from there. And I'm just using some swirling motions here with my water brush to blend out the color. And if you go in like soon after you've put it down, you can blend it out without any problem. Now, this is going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to put on some music and meet you on the flip side of the coloring. See you in a bit. now I'm done with the coloring, and I'm grabbing the Big Bang Confetti stamp set by Winnie and Walter, and I'm using Hero Art's Tight Pool ink with one of the tiny stamps here, and just stamping out some dots. I don't know, this gives the card some, or the elements here some more happiness. You know what I mean? So here's how it looks like in the end. And I'm going to put this aside for a second. I have used the bigger one of the Femme Frames by Mama Elephant to create a scalloped card base. And basically what I've done is I've cut the entire card base, but not the upper edge, basically, so it's still like a card base and not two separate pieces. Now on top of this card base will go a panel that I've cut from craft cardstock, and here I've cut the entire piece, and I've used my Daily Cutter gold ink and just smeared it along the edges so it would get a gold shimmer. If you don't have this ink, you could use gold embossing powder, for example, or like any other method. I just wanted it to be shimmery. That's the only reason I did this. And this will go on top of my panel, and of course it will stand over at the top. I know I could have created a scallop card base by another means, but this was just the easiest way, and I think that's completely okay that it stands over at the top. I'm going to create a few layers here, and I've picked this color of cardstock because it matches with the Tight Pool and Cracked Pistachio ink. And I've actually tried out which inks go best. So for example, here's the Simon Says Fog, Hero Arts Wet Cement, Soft Sand, Soft Granite, Mint Julep, and then pigment inks, Mint to Be, Sea Glass, and Aquamarine by Avery L, and then Tight Pool ink. And these inks seep into the cardstock, and when they dry out, they change the color a little bit, and I wanted to know which color would work best when I want to stamp a pattern here. So that's why I've tried this out. Just to show that the Mint Julep and the Cracked Pistachio are pretty close. And here I'm just making sure I actually have the right color, because I really don't want to mess this up now. The background stamp I'm using is from Denami Designs. They have some wonderful background stamps, and I just love these dots. They're just super happy. And I'm actually not an expert at lighting this up, but most of the time it works. I just kind of squinted it, and then it gets blurry, and then it's the right position. Don't ask me how I do this. So using my ATG gun to put some adhesive on the back of this piece of cardstock, and then I've mounted these two pieces onto my golden craft panel, and now this one will go on top. First, I have wrapped some natural twine around it and made a bow using a technique that Christina Werner showed in one of her videos, how to create the perfect bow. Mine isn't perfect, but it's pretty darn good. It's better than usual. And of course, I need sentiment, so I'm grabbing the Persian Motifs by Altenew and stamping this on my card. And then I've used some foam to 3D mount it on the card itself, and I'm squeezing a tiny droplet of glossy accents behind the bow to make sure it stays in place and doesn't unravel. And I'm using liquid pearls and just squeezing some of the liquid pearls onto the bigger circles that I stamped, just to add some more glitter and shine. And then I'm using a Stardust Jelly Roll pen to add some more sparkle. It's like the Wink of Stella, but a little bit more intense and opaque. You can still see the original color through, but it's really, really super shimmery, and I like it if you want to go really bold with the shimmer on the card. And of course, with a card this cute, I couldn't resist adding some some sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, and I'm using the 4mm Sparkling Clear and Sand colored sequins. So that is the card for today already. Lots of layers, lots of sparkle, but still very subtle colors. At least I feel subtle colors. Then when you open it up, you see this, not centered, sentiment by W+9. So I hope you've enjoyed the card. I hope I have inspired you. If you liked it, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel, hop over to my blog. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon. Bye!